This is CBN NewsWatch.
Thank you so much for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. Happy 4th of July. We've got lots of news to cover at this hour. We're going to begin in the Middle East. In the aftermath of the 12-day war with Iran, one Israeli Arab influencer says the threat from Iran will continue until the regime is dealt with, much like allies dealt with Nazis after World War II. CBN Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl has this story from Jerusalem.
As both Israel and the U.S. hail the great victory over Iran and its nuclear program in the 12-day June war, many Israelis are uneasy and feel there's more to be done.
Make no mistake, the IDF won big time. Big time. What we did in the last 12 days is unprecedented. It's unbelievable. It is one of the greatest victories of our country and our IDF. But the fact is that we have not completed the job.
Israeli journalist and advocate for Israel, Yosef Haddad, says the Iranian regime is proud of targeting Israeli civilians, which shows why they must be destroyed and not just weakened. Haddad spoke to CBN News at the site of the Iranian missile attack in Beersheba, in which 4 Israelis were killed around the time the ceasefire was declared. He likened the current situation to Europe at the end of World War II.
Imagine if in World War II, America and Britain and its allies said, you know what, we won, but we're not going to eliminate completely the Nazis and destroy Hitler. We're just going to keep him as weak as he is. Do you think Hitler would neglect his final solution? It's exactly what the IRGC and the Ayatollah is the same thinking, which means they're not neglecting their last solution. And their last solution is to arrive at a nuclear bomb in order for them to destroy the little devil and to reach the big devil, which is the United States.
At the end of World War II, Germany surrendered unconditionally, and the Allied forces divided the country into 4 zones. German leaders and military officials were tried for war crimes at Nuremberg. The Allies also worked to change the ideology.
What we're doing here right now is actually fighting for the whole free world, for the whole Western world. And we're putting the Israeli civilians in danger doing so. Continue fighting the IRGC, eliminating the IRGC, free the Iranian people, and bring security to Israeli civilians, both Arabs and Jews.
Meanwhile, Israel police spokesman Dean Elsden says the police are working proactively to thwart Iranian attempts at drafting spies and getting information inside Israel.
We have over 23 cases of indictments for espionage, where Iranians are trying to use civilians here in Israel through financial ways, offering them money to complete seamlessly simple tasks by sending pictures, sending locations, and then it works its way up to even assassination attempts in providing information of sensitive areas.
Elsden told CBN News that Israel police are on top of it and are working to secure Israel's borders. Julie Stahl, CBN News, Beersheba.
Archaeologists are inviting Israelis to see a unique artifact they found outside Jerusalem. CBN Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl joins us again with this discovery. It's unique because it contains an iconic Jewish symbol found in a Christian site.
This 1,500-year-old ornate limestone piece once sat on top of an ancient column. The carved image on it surprised archaeologists.
At first, when we found it, we didn't even realize it was a menorah because it was sitting upside down. Only afterward, when we started to examine it and flip the image, we realized it was an 8-branched menorah.
Excavation director Dr. Uzi Ad says they discovered the artifact on the floor of a Byzantine-era building near a church.
Usually at the top of a capitol, there is a flower. Here, suddenly, there's a menorah, and that is unique. The menorahs of that period were not standardized. So the symbol, the shape of the menorah, sometimes appears with 7 branches and sometimes with 8 branches.
The piece was unearthed 5 years ago during excavations for building a new entrance to Jerusalem.
We have no other capitals of this quality at the site. It raised my questions in general about how it came to be here. What is a menorah doing at a non-Jewish Byzantine Christian site? You would expect several capitals to be similar. Here, it's a one-of-a-kind capital.
Experts say menorahs, modeled after the temple candelabra, typically appear at synagogues. Since there's no evidence of a synagogue at this site, they believe this capital may have been moved for another use.
Following the research, we now know that it was indeed produced in the region. Based on the type of limestone it was made from, it is probably local. There's significance here because this symbol, which even appears today on our shirts and in other places, carries a sense of national pride when you find a menorah.
Rabbi Amichai Eliyahu, Israeli Minister of Heritage, says finding the capital is tangible evidence of the profound and undeniable connection between the Jewish people, Jerusalem, and the land of Israel throughout thousands of years, and serves as a bridge between our glorious past and the renewal of our independence in the State of Israel. Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Back here at home, a record number of Americans are on the move this Independence Day, while severe weather and intense heat pose risk to their holiday plans across the country. CBN's Brody Carter has this look at what to expect when it comes to weather and to travel.
It's just been a very long day and long night. We haven't slept.
AAA projects a record-breaking 72.2 million people will travel for the July 4th holiday, the highest on record. And that includes more than 61 million driving and nearly 6 million flying to holiday destinations.
And that travel period constitutes June 28th through July 6th.
Yesterday was anticipated to be the most crowded departure day, while next Tuesday could be the least busy and most affordable for return flights. Summertime heat could factor into holiday plans, however. The National Weather Service says temperatures will soar across much of the country. In Minnesota and Wisconsin, a heat advisory is in effect as temperatures rise 10 to 20 degrees above normal.
Let's do it smartly. Make sure they have proper clothing. Make sure they have sunscreen and bug repellent.
While much of the nation will see clear skies for fireworks, others could be forced to celebrate indoors due to storms. A developing weather system near Florida could become a tropical storm, raising concerns for travelers in the southeast. Downpours are expected in Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico through Friday.
Make sure that they drink, and not just water, they have to have an electrolyte as well.
As extreme weather events coincide with record travel, encouragements for safety remain top of mind this Independence Day. Brody Carter, CBN News.
Here's a look now at other news making headlines from the CBN newsroom. President Donald Trump plans to sign his big, beautiful bill on the federal budget and tax cuts at the White House today. He talked about the bill's benefits and his administration's accomplishments Thursday evening, again saying the golden age of America is upon us. He made those remarks while at the Iowa State Fairgrounds in Des Moines for the opening celebration of a year-long birthday party to mark 2.5 centuries of American independence. It is the 4th of July, and there are already several dangerous fireworks accidents across the country. More than a half dozen people are missing after a deadly fireworks blast. It burned 80 acres of land. This is in Northern California. And in Southern California, an explosion turned deadly. Police say fireworks started in the garage of the Simi Valley home and killed at least one person. And in Knoxville, Tennessee, investigators say children were shooting bottle rockets and they caused a home to go up in flames after the rockets landed near a propane tank. The children are okay. A bus skids off the road in Germany, injuring at least 20 people. One of them sustained serious injury. The accident happened as 2 drivers and 53 passengers were heading to Austria. German police are investigating what caused this accident. In a settlement with the Trump administration, the University of Pennsylvania agreed it will not allow biological men to compete in women's sports. This stems from a high-profile case focusing on swimmer Leah Thomas, who was the first openly transgender athlete to win an NCAA Division I title. The administration investigation concluded the university violated the rights of female athletes. Coming up, from the jungles of Indonesia to the sunny state of Florida, see how the Wild Brothers have an award-winning television show and how they're using it to fulfill the Great Commission. You're watching CBN News Watch. We'll be right back.
Download the CBN News App, 24/7 news from a Christian perspective at home or on the road. One place for all of your news. Breaking news alerts. Set daily prayer goals and pray for news stories. Read the most important news and watch CBN News Channel live. CBN News, because truth matters. Go to cbnnewsapp.com to get the app today.
The Wild Brothers are all about adventure and the outdoors. So when they moved from the jungles of Indonesia to Florida, they faced a new challenge that opened the door to a video project called Off the Couch into Creation. Wendy Griffith has their story.
We first introduced the Wild Brothers on the 700 Club in 2016. Morgan, Hudson, Kian, and Asher were guests along with their father, Mike Wild.
I actually learned that there were still people groups left on the earth that didn't have access to the gospel.
They spoke of their missionary upbringing in the remote jungles of Indonesia, building their own homes.
We wanted to make sure it was built on a really firm foundation and make sure it wasn't going anywhere.
Learning a new language and telling the Wana tribe about Jesus, much of which they documented on video.
We had this great message to share with them and teach them to read and write, so they were thrilled to have that privilege.
Guys, it is so good to see you. We recently caught up with 3 of the brothers. Morgan, now 27, was with his wife, who was having their second baby. 25-year-old Hudson is also married with a child and one on the way. 23-year-old Kian just recently married, and 21-year-old Asher.
I'm still very single, yeah.
That's right.
So, waiting and praying on that one.
Okay, well, you got time.
I do.
About 5 years ago, they moved to Florida and launched Wild Brothers TV.
Wild Brothers TV is the #1 source of great commissions entertainment for families. So we want to expose young kids and families to what God is doing around the world, how he's saving the nations, but it's also a great source of entertainment. We love outdoor adventure, and I think all children are wired with the spirit of adventure. Sometimes they don't really realize that, though, and they try to live vicariously through different means, media and video games, and so our platform is all centered around getting families adventuring outside, getting close to God.
Their latest video project, Off the Couch Into Creation, is an award-winning reality show streaming on Angel Studios.
There's a lot of commotion up here.
There he is, right here, guys. See him?
This is crazy. We're cross-country skiing over a frozen lake.
That's a fun show, yeah. So that show documents us actually exploring America for the first time. So when we came back from Indonesia, we moved to a small town called Niceville, and it's like the most sleepiest town ever. And we were like, man, is our days of adventuring over? And so we made a challenge for ourselves to actually try to explore the creation around us. And we were blown away by all the amazing adventures we went on just right here in America.
And there's more. The brothers are also launching an 8-week outdoor adventure homeschool curriculum, as well as working on an animated children's show called Wild Bros.
So it's our first animated series, and it's going to document kind of like based on our true life stories as missionary kids, but it's going to be in a cartoon version. And so we're really excited about this show because it's going to get into a much wider audience, but it's all based on true events. And so as kids are watching a fun cartoon, they're learning all about the Great Commission. They're learning about what it takes to get the mission out, to get God's word translated.
The brothers say their main mission is showing young people that following Jesus is the ultimate adventure.
Even Jesus, when he called people that regular, everyday people, like fishermen, you know? And so what we've seen is that, yeah, you don't have to be someone special for God to use you. And so for us, living on mission is a sacrificial way of living. It doesn't matter what part of the globe you're at and what you're doing. Really, everybody can be involved in God's great commission of seeing the nations reach. And so for us, that meant actually being there on the tip of the spear in a remote tribe. It's not something that's scary. It's not something that they can't attain to. It's Christ is the power. He fills us with his Holy Spirit and allows us to go and do great things. And so we want people to see, man, what part could I play in that? And to live sacrificially, whether that's here in the States, whether that's overseas.
How has getting married and bringing wives and babies into the Wild Brothers changed the dynamic or even changed the mission? Or has it, Hudson?
It's been awesome. Really, women are amazing, and with 4 brothers, a bunch of knuckleheads, it was about time that the boys get some sisters, and my mom finally gets some daughters. The girls have their own show called Wild Home on Wild Brothers TV because half of our audience are actually young women. And as 4 brothers, we make a lot of kind of guy-focused content. So the women are able to jump on the platform and add that feminine flair.
Meanwhile, parents Mike and Libby are continuing their mission work in Indonesia. And although the brothers live in the States now, their hearts are still in the jungle. I know you spent 17 years there, but do you think you'll ever go back?
Absolutely, yeah. I actually just was visiting Indonesia recently with my parents and have plans to, Lord willing, head back. I definitely have a lot of dear brothers and sisters in Christ over there, and there's a lot of adventures that are still on the bucket list.
What's your #1 adventure on the bucket list?
Us boys would always love to find a living dinosaur, and there's some legends over there about possible living dinosaurs, so.
Wow.
That would be the ultimate.
Hear that? Well, it does look like Jurassic Park there, so.
Yeah, true.
Oh, this is breaking news. We are on the hunt, and you guys have to come back when you have any shred of evidence.
There we go. Will do.
And you can see all of the Wild Brothers adventures on Wild Brothers TV, available on mobile apps and smart TVs.
So Wild Brothers TV has tons, hours and hours of original content to stream, but then also really fun, engaging community features, such as weekly challenges, a safe social media forum to connect with us and other like-minded believers. So it's a mobile app, streaming platform, but also a community.
Lord, thank you so much for today. Thank you for this opportunity and just for your beautiful creation.
Wendy Griffith, CBN News.
Still ahead, we're sharing big news from the queen of country music, Dolly Parton, plus other stories making headlines in the world of uplifting entertainment. Stay with us. You're watching CBN News Watch. Welcome back to CBN News Watch. Gospel music is breaking new ground, and one of the summer's most highly anticipated films is in theaters. You can actually go see it right now. We've got these stories behind these entertainment headlines and more in this week's Studio 5 Top 5. At number 5.
God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you.
Big news from the queen of country music, and you can snag your ticket today.
Grab your rhinestones. The queen of country is taking Las Vegas by storm. Dolly Parton will be performing live at the Coliseum at Caesar's Palace December 4th through the 13th. Dolly's team says this will be her first extended run in 32 years.
At number 4.
It's a journey through culture, one bite at a time. This is Savor the City.
Chef Jernard Wells wraps season 1 of his new show.
This is just the beginning. This is a raindrop in the bucket. Wherever we are, we're going. I'm talking about, you know, Napa Valley, New Orleans, New York, Nashville, Charleston, the DMV, Las Vegas, the Bahamas, you name it, Miami. If we're there, I'm going, because there's some history and some great food to be shared with the world.
Chef Jernard. Chef, how you doing, my brother? Right. See, that's what I'm talking about. You came bearing gifts.
One of the things you talk about in the finale and being in Savannah is we talk about Juneteenth. Take me there, if you will. What was that like for you, sharing that piece of history, especially through food?
Oh, what life-changing, heartwarming, and I would never be the same.
At number 3.
This island was the research facility for the original Jurassic Park.
A Studio 5 first look at the return of the 32-year-old dinosaur franchise in Jurassic World Rebirth before its July 2nd release.
For anyone who loves the original Jurassic films, this is the movie for you.
Oh, my God.
Do we have to get a sample from an egg?
I suppose we could try and get it from the parent, but they're a flying carnivore the size of an F-16.
When I read the script, it felt like a love letter to Spielberg. I've always wanted to shoot on film. I really wanted Jurassic World Rebirth to have that naturalistic, cinematic quality.
The original Jurassic asked that brilliant question, just because we can, should we?
At number 2.
The history of gospel music will soon be displayed here in Music City.
Just steps from Nashville's legendary Ryman Auditorium, the new Museum of Christian and Gospel Music, scheduled to open its doors October 3rd.
The GMA says the museum will celebrate the story of Christian and gospel music's past, present, and future, touring through multiple rooms. There will be a theater, interactive exhibits, a hall of fame, and a multi-function room with endless possibilities for gatherings.
At number 1.
There's a quote that says the 2 most important days of your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why.
A new bestseller from one of the leaders of the wildly popular ministry, Transformation Church.
Hey friend, hope you're doing good. My name is Charles Metcalf, and I wrote a book called God Chose Me, Untouchable Confidence for the Unstoppable Christian.
3 words that'll change your life. God chose me. I'm about to preach this thing.
Stay with us. Your Friday Faithful is coming up next. You are watching CBN News Watch.
Hi, I'm John Stolnis, host of the CBN News podcast, DC Debrief. I'd love for you to join me each Friday morning for the inside scoop on Washington politics. We will talk to experts, lawmakers, newsmakers, and analysts to help us take a deep dive into the important stories you might not hear anywhere else. Don't miss this unique CBN News perspective coming to you straight from the nation's capital, because truth matters.
Download the CBN News App, 24/7 news from a Christian perspective at home or on the road. One place for all of your news. Breaking news alerts. Set daily prayer goals and pray for news stories. Read the most important news and watch CBN News Channel live. CBN News, because truth matters. Go to cbnnewsapp.com to get the app today.
And it is time now for your Friday Faithful. I'm going to leave you with this message as we wrap another week together. God has anointed you and appointed you with a divine purpose. It's a journey, and there is disappointment on that journey to appointment, but don't you dare quit. It is purely preparation for your divine purpose. Think on that on this day when we are celebrating freedom, and enjoy your holiday weekend. Well, that will do it for this edition of CBN News Watch. You can always find more of our news programs on the CBN News channel or online at cbnnews.com. You can find them in both places at any time. We'd love to know what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can email us, newswatch@cbn.com. You can also reach out and touch us on Facebook, Instagram, and X. We'll see you back here come Monday. Goodbye and God bless.